Okay, so we have now gone through, we've gone through the PS5, and it's not terribly difficult, as you can see. And I'm going to have to fix making all the noise over here. It looks like it's Julian, so I must mute.
Oh.
There we go. So thank you for that. Okay, so let's write some notes. Discard notes. All right, we are now talking about number 5. Okay, by the way, somebody's got to help me out. You have to tell me where the settings are that, no, now it's not doing it, that give me the menu. Bendix. The Bendix, also called Stromberg PS5. Now remember, I told you when you do in aviation, that's how we make an S to make sure we know that's an S, and the $sign seems very appropriate for aviation. So, all right, what are my chambers? Chambers, so A, we have our chambers. Chambers, we have A chamber, which is impact pressure. Impact pressure. And also in A, we have the spring in A, spring in A holds poppet open during idle. During idle. We have chamber B, which is venturi pressure. So that means A plus B equals air metering force. And we've got chamber, we'll just put this 3, fuel. Fuel enters E, even though it's really not labeled, so I'll just say purple. Purple. At 9 to 14 PSI. D, that is fuel metering force. Fuel metering force equal to air metering force. What would you say? We call that unmetered fuel. Or sometimes we could say regulated, but fuel. I don't remember if they gave me a. Yeah, unmetered fuel.
Did you say unmetered and then you said regulated fuel?
No, just go unmetered. Actually, if I was going to say anything like that, I would go back to here. I would say, ooh, I got to be careful. I won't even write it, because when we get into a different car, the Bendix fuel injection system, I believe they refer to E, they'll say regulated but unmetered. So then we'd say E is regulated, and it is because it's coming off the fuel pump, which is regulated, but we don't need to make it more complicated right now with this one. So, all right, so A, chambers. So we got our chambers. B, operation. All right, this is where we're going to probably spend a lot of time writing.
What does it say after meet on D?
D, fuel metering force equal to air, that was supposed to say metering force, but my pen like delayed on me.
Okay,
This one here.
thank you.
And then it's minus unmetered fuel.
No, it's equal. So this particular one is A plus B equals D, because remember, there is no D minus C. C doesn't have a diaphragm.
Oh, I was trying to figure out the note under where it says unmetered fuel.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just, oh, okay, I'll make that like a point one or something there. It was a star or an asterisk or something. Hey, operation, you guys all right? Operation one, fuel enters E. E and flows into D. Of course, it has to go through the poppet to get there. So I can put this either flows in there either because of the idle spring, or air metering force. Air metering force has opened the poppet. All right, fuel then flows. Fuel flows from D past the metering jet. Past the metering jet to the idle needle valve.
Is that the main metering jet?
Yes. There. So main metering jet right there. So we can say that past the main metering jet if you'd like. All right, so fuel has flown from D past main meter jet to the idle needle valve. And I wish I could go between screens faster, so I was trying to figure out, but I'll just pull over here real quick. So now we're down in this area right here. So we're talking about the idle needle valve in this area. So we came in through here, through the poppet valve, D, main metering jet, here, over. Now we're right in this area right here. All right. At idle position, at idle position, the idle needle valve regulates the fuel. Idle position, the idle needle valve regulates fuel. Obviously, when I say that, I could finish out regulates fuel up to the discharge nozzle, but hopefully you kind of know where we're headed with that. So as the throttle is opened, is opened. The idle needle valve opens. Idle needle valve opens and does not regulate fuel. Remember that it's stepped, and that's what it does that. And that is because, I'll say this, it is now larger than the main metering jet. Main metering jet. I don't know if I could do picture in a picture. No, that's just a really bad idea. And so, pull it over here. So we talk about that. We'll go to laser pointer. Okay, so right here's our main metering jet, right? So the very next thing it's going to see is this idle needle valve. Well, just like with the float carburetors and stuff we looked at, whichever is the smallest does the regulating. So always remember that, because you know, if I put a really big orifice right here, it does nothing, because then C is going to be smaller, so it does the work. Well, C is going to look larger to this needle if this needle is closed. So if this needle is closed, it does the regulating because it's smaller than this. So, but as we go towards wide open throttle, the needle moves out of the way, and then the main metering jet becomes the biggest item, so it starts doing the regulating. Yep, okay, good, got that. 1, 2, 3. All right. Fuel flows next to the discharge nozzle, so we'll bypass those other things. Fuel flows next to the discharge nozzle. Discharge nozzle needle valve. And then to discharge nozzle, and then to discharge nozzle. All right, discharge valve, the discharge valve is spring-loaded. Is spring-loaded with a diaphragm. Pull that back up. So we're up in here, this area, discharge needle valve, discharge nozzle needle valve. So right in this area here, and on this particular one, we're looking at, it is spring loaded. So here's a spring loaded with a diaphragm. Spring loaded with the diaphragm. So the spring keeps valve closed until proper pressure. Keeps valve closed until proper pressure opens the valve. And the reason why we have that is you don't want fuel dribbling in there. So as the pump is building up, or if there's any leakage past some of this stuff, or let's say you're running the pump and you have the throttle open a little bit, this pump is going to, the carburetor is going to see that. It's remember that what keeps the poppet off of its seat is the idle spring. And so you have to consider the fact that even if the engine isn't running, the carburetor sort of thinks it does if you're in idle. And so what it's going to do is it's going to allow fuel to go through the poppet valve. Why? Because the spring is holding it open. It doesn't know anything about the pressure. So if the spring is holding it open and you have fuel running through there, and as you, well, it's just going to do it anyway, no matter what. Fuel's going to run through this thing. But if you have a low pressure,
Kevin, we don't see the picture. We're just looking at your notes right now.
I know I was letting you get caught up with the notes, but if you want to see the picture, I'll give you the picture.
Oh, well, you're saying like
No.
this thing.
So I'm just talking while you're getting caught up. So
Alright.
just remember that the carburetor in idle doesn't know the engine's not running. It puts fuel out. And if you have a little bit of leakage, and I'm just kind of making up stuff now, a little bit of leakage or less than appropriate fuel pressure, you want the nozzle shut down so you're not leaking in there.
I have a question. So you said the discharge valve is a spring loaded with a diaphragm. You don't mean that the discharge valve itself, the spring is a diaphragm, right? They're two separate parts.
Right there.
It's not like the spring itself and then the diaphragm. It's like,
Look, there's a diaphragm, this black thing, and a spring.
yeah.
There's a spring. That's actually a little spring there too, but I'm talking about this. Spring.
Okay, I thought you meant like the spring is another diaphragm.
Nope, diaphragm and a spring. All right, you guys caught up?
Yep.
Almost.
Yes, I'm caught up.
Damn it.
Okay.
He was not caught up, Kevin.
What? Want me to go back?
Yeah, for like literally 1 second, I literally have one more line to write.
Do you have a question, Kevin?
No, it's just that Steve asked if you can go back, and I don't think you heard him.
No.
Didn't think I heard him or didn't think I was listening?
No, just didn't hear him.
Those are two different things.
That is true.
Oh, it is Steve.
All right, I'm done. There we go.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Let's see. Discharge valve, a spring load with diaphragm. I think that's what did I put A? Now I got to go all the way back. What did I write last? Spring
One.
keeps valve closed to
Yes, it
proper
was A.
pressure. That's what
You
I wrote.
had one.
1A.
I did A. Okay. When pressure decreases, valve closes to, no, that's a bad sentence. Valve closes to quickly and efficiently. So what did I write here? When pressure decreases, valve closes quickly to prevent fast and efficient cutoff. No, I don't want to say that. When valve closes, valve closes quickly. I'll kind of go with what I have, but use the right words. To quickly, to allow. That's a much better word. Allow a fast and efficient fuel cutoff. Change that. There we go. And just like with the other carburetor, it maintains constant pressure downstream. Maintains a constant pressure downstream. Which is to say, the more pressure you try and build up, the more the needle's going to move over. The more the needle moves over, the more the fuel's going to flow. The more fuel flows out the nozzle, the faster it goes, which is what you wanted. Also, air is sent from chamber A, which is impact, to nozzle where it emulsifies Emulsifies fuel. C, way out here, C. I do not know what's going on in my house, but I hear dishes being broken.
Are they multiple dishes or is it just
Just one.
okay? If it was multiple, you got a problem.
I know.
It was yours.
Was it my dish?
Yeah.
No, it was his favorite beer mug.
No, I don't. You know, if it was my dish, I just changed dishes. Now it's one of the kids. All right, mixture control system. Where's my mixture control system? So everybody can get that in their head. Mixture control system is down here. So it is right in this area over here. This is my mixture control system. So mixture control system. One, it allows air to bleed from chamber B, which is suction, to chamber A, so to speak, to chamber A, which is impact, chamber A, reducing the pressure differential. Or reduces air metering force. So as air bleeds from say A to B, well, B to A, even does it a little bit from A to B. Air metering force is reduced. And poppet closes, and poppet closes a little bit. At ICO, idle cutoff, the mixed needle is pulled out. The needle.
But you're writing so fast.
Oh, okay. I'll slow down. It just doesn't take me long to spell ICO.
Thanks.
I can go find out what's broken in the kitchen. Where are you at, Janet? All right, idle cutoff. At idle cutoff, I guess I'm writing fast because like I already covered it. Which needle I should be specified.
I like the fact that Hector's saying go faster. That was MJ.
Oh, was it? How come it doesn't show up?
Hector and MJ. I don't know if they're telling you.
The last thing I have here is Joe Exotic for president.
Oh no, it's not on a chat. It's on participants.
Oh, manage participants. I usually have that window open. There we go. Oh yeah, go faster.
I don't know if they're telling you or Jeanette. One of those two.
All right. Now I'm lost. Now I got to find my spot. Back here. At idle cutoff, the mixed needle. The mixed needle is pulled out. So now you have no more restriction between A and B. And so it pulls all the way out, which attempts to or gets close to equalizing equalizing A and B. So now we've lost our air metering force. So we can put that zero air metering force. And is that going to shut down our engine? No, because now it just thinks it's an idle. And now the idle spring's gonna take over. So we gotta kill off the idle spring. So the ICO plunger or cam, plunger, which is, I'll put that operated by cam, O-P-E-R, operated by the cam, depresses the idle spring, depresses the, means it makes it sad, depresses the idle spring, closing the poppet. See, if I could see you, Janet, I would know when you're feverishly writing. Like I can see Eric, hi Eric, and I can tell how he's doing.
You're going to see kids running back and forth in my background.
That does
Very
not bother,
distracting.
well, it doesn't bother me a bit. So you can hear my kids screaming out there, breaking plates. Hey, there's Christians. See, it's good for him to be part of the school. My dad always said, children should be seen and not heard. So as long as you have your mute on, it's totally fine.
Oh, but my kids are weird. I'm good.
What happened
God,
to
Kevin.
Steve?
What?
Okay. I'm going slow and I'm boring people. Mixture control. All right, so that's my mixture control. So I'm just gonna pull this back over. Steven, mute yourself, buddy. You're making noise. Thank you. All right, so we just finished talking about the mixture control system, which is over in this area over here. So again, what I said about that is that as the mixture is pulled all the way back, it's going to open this needle all the way up, pull everything out of here so that the venturi, rather than coming up here and pulling on B, or even the impact air coming up here and pushing on A, rather than doing that, it has a path right through here. And so it's just going to come this way, and out. So it's going to run into that loop. Draw a picture. So the loop then becomes this for the air. And so we get no air metering force. And that is going to shut down our air metering force, which would close the poppet most of the way, except that the spring is still in play, the idle spring. So as you pull it back more, this little cam is going to hit this. It's going to push this lever down, which pushes this up. This pushes up into here, drives this up here, which then pulls all of this backwards. So this then pulls backwards, and then it closes this off. And my crazy drawings here look like Joe Madden over here, but that's okay.
That was great.
And then I should have left it up. Wish there was a way to undo that one. All right. Now we're going to talk about the automatic mixture control. Automatic mixture control, which is not on here. So let me see. I believe. There we go. Not a great drawing. I'm going to warn you right now. All right. So what this is, the automatic mixture control now is added way down here. Of course, it's not going to really be located there, but hey, this is how the drawing went. So this is here, but let's orientate ourselves what we're looking at. So here we have our chambers up here. You can see the idle spring. You can see over here the mixture needle. So everything is the same. So here is our mixture control, and it's going in and out just like before with the cam that's going to come up and it's going to press on here, although that's not really drawn. So where they've put this is in between the Venturi suction and the impact air. So impact air and Venturi suction are brought into here. So it's like just like paralleling the manual mixture control. So here's the blow up of it over here. So it is an inverted needle. And what we're gonna do, we were gonna remember in our potato chip bags, so we have a bellows here. And as we go up into altitude, the potato chip bag or bellows is going to expand. As it expands, it is going to drive it down. So if it, up in altitude, it's going to go down. When it goes down, this needle right here, which is actually blocking off the passages, doesn't really show it real well, the two passages here. We'll say this is one passage here. Just trust me on this. So when it chamber air, well, here's A going down into chamber B. So I want to get from B down here to A and go out like that. So it's controlling that. So what happens as we go up in altitude, it is going to, because of the inverted needle, which means that it's thinner up here and then thick down here, the inverted needle, as we go up in altitude, is going to open up. It's going to slide down, leaving more room for fuel, for air to get from B to A to B, impact pressure down here. So what that does is it decreases air metering force. And then the inverse is true. As we go down in altitude, this is going to go the other way and start shrinking. It's going to pull this needle up and it's going to start blocking off the passage. It's really doing almost the exact same thing as this is doing, but it's connected to a bellows. So imagine, if you will, redesign the whole thing and say, well, I'm going to take out the plunger and I'm going to take out this cam and I'm just going to put a big bellows over here. And when I go up in altitude, it pulls it. Of course, now it's working backwards, but you know, it pulls it out, and I make something where when I go down in altitude, it pushes it back in. So it's doing the same thing, but it's just doing it out over here in a different manner. But it parallels that, so you still have both of them going on. All right, so that's going to lead me to C. Mixture control system. Nope, is that what I wanted to do? Yeah, let's just redo everything I just did.
D.
So that's actually D. D. The AMC, automatic mixture control. The AMC. Now, if you remember the AMC on the last carburetor, the big one, the PR58, it really just limited the pressure going into the impact tubes. Now on this carburetor, it's going to actually do the same thing, lessen air metering force, but it's going to do so by controlling a bleed orifice in between A and B. In a lot of ways, we could have done that with this other carburetor. Just got to find it. We could have built the same thing here. And so what we would have done is we would have, let's see what I can do here. Ooh, I can do white. We would have got rid of this. There you go. Now it's white. Now it's all gone. And so there is no AMC up here. And then we would have built one down here. So we would have come over here, and right in this spot, we would have built that inverted needle here. So I think I would get it right. So I'm going to be fat down this way, and then taper in, and then it would come up here and then be attached to a bellows up here. And we could have done the same thing. And so as we go up, and so we start out low in altitude, this is reasonably blocked off. And then as we go up in altitude, this needle is going to move down, and it's going to make more and more and more room. And so more of the A is going to bleed into B, and it would have worked the exact same way. So this is really all they did on this other one. Instead of putting the AMC up here, just put it down here and you control the bleed. You see, MJ, you have I have two open participants tab. I don't think so.
No, you have to open.
Oh, have
That
to.
was, yeah.
I did, which I usually do. Oops, now I lost it, but I don't care. Discard. Okay, so automatic mixture control, AMC, a sealed bellows. A sealed bellows. Sealed bellows can be placed. Oops, PLA is placed in the line between A and B, A and B. The bellows has an inverse needle, has an inverse needle. Which, looks, let me see, bellows. Comes out this way, then that way. Not proud of it. Better off without drawing it.
Is that connected to the bellows?
Yep, it sure is.
There's not a spring on the bottom, right?
See it right here. I gotta make that bigger. There you go. So it is connected to the bellows completely. So this is like the bellows plunger that goes up and down. And instead of having a straight needle that would, I can't do it here. So instead of having a needle that came out this way and tapered to a point down below, which would be a regular needle. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know what I just did there. That was not cool. Got too
That's
much
pretty
stuff.
funny.
I know I have stuff on my desk and so I whack controls and stuff. Okay, so instead of doing that, notice the needle is tapered here and then it gets fat down as it goes below, which is the point I wanted to make. All right, automatic
So
mixture.
the
Yeah.
reason it's inverse is to create a better seal.
No. No.
Okay, I'm kind of.
Okay, glad you asked. Let me go back to this. You have to make the whole needle operation work correctly. It is going to do what it is designed to do. As you go up in altitude, the bellows expands. As you come down in altitude, it's going to contract. There is no other way around that. That is exactly what happens. So you have to design this in such a way that when it expands, the hole between two things gets bigger. And when it contracts, the hole between two things gets smaller. So right here in this area, you looking at that?
Yeah.
Got an inverted needle. So that means this area is smaller than this area. So right now it's shown in the contracted position. Okay. And
So that would be at high altitude.
no, it's contracted. It's smaller. It's pulled together.
Low altitude.
Low
Low
altitude. When I get to high altitude, let me see. When I get to high altitude, I wish they had it in both positions. I'm looking right here. There's that little line. Somebody tell me how to make this not do that. I would love that. It is driving me crazy. If I don't draw fast, it comes up.
What is that, PowerPoint?
I think so. But
So I just have them backwards, I think.
yes, you do.
Okay.
But this is, I have looked and I just want that to stop more than anything else in
It
going on.
must be on your pointer settings.
For, let me see. Yeah, maybe. Would it be, it's not going to be for my pad, but anyway. All right. So what's going to happen is this needle comes down and right here, right there in this area, right, this area, it's going to open this up. Right now it's sealed up well, but think about as this needle comes out, the space here is going to open up and that's going to allow air to bleed right down here, through there and out. Got it?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay. All right, sealed bellows. Let's see if we can get through this. Let me see. No, two. As atmospheric pressure decreases, as atmospheric pressure decreases, which means hot air, or we go up in altitude, or I could say this, say we'll go up in altitude, or temp, the temp increases, the bellows expands, bleeding air from A to B. A to B. Two. And this is going to speak more to the, well, this one right here is more about the PS5.
Kevin,
Yeah.
wouldn't the temp decrease?
Nope.
You're going up.
Oh, wait,
up.
atmospheric pressure decreases or temp. No, that's correct. Atmospheric pressure decreases. That means up in altitude, or the temp increases, increase in temp. Either one of those things goes up. The pressure, we go up in altitude, pressure decrease, or it gets hotter, then I have a higher density altitude. So remember my story going when I'm taking off from McClellan, where it's 74 feet, and in the middle of summer where it's like 90 degrees, it says the density altitude is, 3,000 feet. And you're like, I'm not 3,000 feet, but the density altitude. So if it does get hotter, that bellows is going to expand because the air in it gets hotter and it expands. So the bellows expands. Anybody disagree with that one?
I'm just kind of confused right now because typically as you go up in altitude, the temperature will decrease. So unless like other things are there, like if you're in Truckee or whatever. So like,
No, it's two separate things. As the atmospheric pressure altitude increases or the temp increases. So what happens to you when you try and take off down here in the valley when it's 100 degrees outside? What is the density altitude?
Higher.
Okay. Is the carburetor a little bit richer then?
Yeah.
All right, then this compensates.
Okay.
Got it? So how about we leave it right there and go have some dinner? So I will see you guys in a little bit.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care, Kev. Hope you enjoyed dinner.
All right, cool. Sounds good.